Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tracy Show. Well, an update for Sean Combs' case. The ex girlfriend, who's going by the name of Jane Doe, was on cross examination today. And can you believe that she has testified that Sean Diddy Combs still pays her rent to this day? She says she loves him and that she thinks at some point or sometime, I don't know, maybe sometimes she enjoyed the hotel nights. Child, her and the defense lawyer, Terry Garagos, they exchanged some pointed words about handbags. Child Garagos, and she insinuated that the witness was consensually having sex with other men and gladly accepting designer bags. She said, "No, I got trauma," Jane responded after Garagos questioned if she didn't get anything. The defense lawyer also asked the witness if she knew what a Bottega bag was, and Jane responded, "I'm sure you have one." Ah! Garagos also asked, "How much does a Bottega bag cost?" To which Jane responded, "How much does my body cost?" What the world? Jane was feeling herself today. Even the judge had to say, "Look here, Jane. Look here. Calm yourself down." Jane asked for a break shortly after the exchange, but I'm going to let you hear a little bit of what was going on in the courtroom.
Now getting their chance to cross-examine a key witness in his federal sex trafficking trial. For 3 days, jurors have heard from a woman testifying under the pseudonym Jane. She dated Combs from 2021 to 2024 and alleged that he pressured her to have sex with other men during so-called hotel nights, which she said could last for hours or even days. Combs denies all charges against him. But even while testifying against Mr. Combs, Jane said that he continues to pay her rent and legal fees. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is outside the courthouse in New York City tracking all of this. Chloe, let's start with Jane's testimony. Which part over the past 3 days is the defense revisiting today?
Clay, we're seeing Combs' defense attorney, Teddy Garagos, really try to go into this element of whether or not Jane was forced to participate in these drug-fueled sexual encounters with male escorts, which she calls hotel nights. And on several occasions during her testimony today, she was asked about times in which she actually procured those escorts on her own without Combs asking her to do so. And she said, quote, "I knew that there was an undertone, an expectation of me, but will jurors find that, will that give them pause, Clay, right? That Combs wasn't actually directing her all the time to hire these escorts." Also, she testified about her drug use. She said that she chose to take ecstasy and opted not to take cocaine and ketamine. She also testified about not sometimes liking these escorts and being attracted to them, and that she, on her own accord, she testified, Jane, that she would sometimes dismiss these escorts and that Combs would be fine with it. So again, how does that play into this element of coercion, this element of force? And we talked about the money, right? And that Combs is still paying her rent. Again, Tenny Garagos really trying to poke holes in her testimony that she was concerned that he would stop paying her rent, that she didn't have a place to live.
Right.
Also revealing in her testimony today that the landlord of her home actually had 3 months of payment for her house, that if he had stopped perhaps paying her rent, that she actually would not have been immediately homeless. She would have found time to find other money or perhaps another place to live. But that never happened, as we've now learned.
And Chloe, in addition to the testimony about the rent and legal fees, she also said today that she still loves Combs despite the allegations she's made against him. Briefly, how does the prosecution handle that?
This is incredibly complicated. We're listening to both the prosecution over the last few days and as well as the defense play voice notes, which are, loving in nature, which show a different side of this relationship. So I think that jurors are really going to have to wrestle with the fact that he's paying her legal fees, he's paying her rent, present day, while she is pretty much testifying against him for the prosecution. And I just want to point out that she was granted immunity by the government to testify. And Clay?
All right, Chloe Malas, thanks so much.
Child, so as I said, the defense was just going over some text messages and voice notes that Jane sent to Combs, where she engaged in fantasy talk that appeared to show her willingness for sexually explicit activities. Some of the messages include Jane describing what she would like to do to specific SEX workers who were hired for hotel nights, or discussing the planning of hotel nights. Jane testified that she gave Combs options on things he wanted to hear. She told the court that these were things that wouldn't have occurred to her to do, but she knew Combs would like to do them. Now, this is the part that gets me. Jane testified that she invoked the names of two all-time basketball greats to describe her sex life with Combs and someone named Paul. The three of them were the trifecta, Jane said, with a nod to Hall of Fame hoopsters. I was Kobe, and Paul was Shaquille O'Neal, Jane said. Combs was Michael Jordan. I'm done. I am done. Whew. Child, I had to take a break on that one, okay? I'm going to continue. Sean Combs is one nasty, freaky, deaky man. He is just disgusting. I don't know what. Can you believe that? That is why he probably was at all those Lakers games. He wasn't there really for the basketball. He was there to look at the men. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, Jane testified that Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, spoke to her on the phone on at least one occasion when Jane transported some rugs for Combs. Now tell me, she cried, I'm not transporting nothing for nobody. But anywho, the text message exchanges were shared between Christine Coram, I think that's how you say her name, and Jane, where the women were coordinating travel arrangements. Jane also said the two spoke on the phone, which was not their standard method of communication. Jane also testified that communication with Christine Coram, that's how you say her name, Coram, was a point of contention for her while she dated Combs. Coram, or KK, was always with Combs, and it became a difficult part of Jane's relationship with Combs. She said Jane told the court Coram had strong feelings about Jane that would influence how Combs treated her. Combs called his end of week partying a F It Friday celebration. This is what Jane is saying. It's when he let loose and want to party really hard, she said. Now, I don't know how much harder they can party. But I guess when you want to add the basketball players in their names and all that, I guess, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Jane also testified that ecstasy greatly helped her and Combs focus on actual energy. You think? You think? I told y'all she about dumb as a doorknob. I hate to say it. She says he was just happy, good energy, charismatic, actual high. She said, but before ecstasy, he was agitated and stressed from the day. After, he would be happy and in a good mood. Well, why do you think that, Jane? He was agitated because he was in a withdrawal and he needed his rugs. Girl, You about as dumb as they come. Okay, I'm going to calm down. Jane testified that she came to understand that Combs' desire to see her having intercourse with another man was an exercise of sexual curiosity. Well, I'll be damned. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-ling, ring, 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 ring. She finally figuring something out. You go, girl. She says, I was trying to figure out the relationship. Look, I told y'all she figuring out something. Duh. I was trying to figure out the relationship, and I came upon the word cuckold. A man turned on by watching his woman having sex with another man, Jane told the court. I just wanted to know what was driving him. Jane said she believed it could have been an interest in bisexuality. I'm telling y'all, I hate to keep saying it, but she about as dumb as a doorknob. Okay, let me get back to this and stay on track. She said that it could have been an interest in bisexuality, but Combs might have been too scared to do the act himself. No, he wasn't. That man, he done did that act plenty of times. Oh my goodness. Making these freak offs the next closest alternative. Defense attorney Terry Garagos asked Jane whether Combs was driven by his desires and her love for Combs drove her during hotel nights. Jane responded yes. Jane testified that she told Combs multiple times that she didn't feel comfortable engaging in hotel nights as time passed. She also testified under cross-examination that she loved the attention and affection Combs would give her during those nights. Jane also testified that Combs' heavy use of drugs and alcohol worried her. She said that during a trip to Turks and Caicos, she felt like the music mogul had jaundice, graying gums, and shaking hands. Jane said she wanted Combs to go to a rehab clinic in Thailand. When Combs' defense attorney, Terry Garagos, asked Jane if she believed Combs was an addict, the witness said, I felt he was overdoing the partying. Jane told the court that she was aware Combs was polyamorous and seeing multiple women, and that at first it wasn't something that she minded. But as emotions grew deeper, she testified the imbalance became difficult to handle. Jane stated that the relationship looked monogamous even if it wasn't in reality, which she was okay with. She agreed that it hurt her feelings that he was easily able to shift to another woman. Jane used colorful language when referring to another woman he was dating. Combs said he enjoyed being with Jane and gave her an edgy nickname to go with these good times. These are good times? Oh my goodness. According to a text message shown in court, they had just returned from the Turks and Caicos Island in 2023 when Combs reflected on their fun trip. Get your rest. You are the crack pipe. That's my name for you. Crack pipe. I'm going to call you crack pipe. A very good time together, he said in 2023 on when a voicemail played out in court. His crack pipe. Lord have mercy. The witness said she fell in love with Combs, but didn't understand what conditions would come with that relationship. He introduced me to this lifestyle under a lot of emotional pressure, Jane said. I was so hooked from the beginning on the love and affection. I fell in love with him, and I didn't understand the terms of the relationship. She came to understand that having freak off with strange men might have been part of the deal. Well, you think so? It was along the lines of love and pressure to do these things he desired and wanted to fulfill my duties as a girlfriend. She added, that's duties as a hoe. That is not duties as no girlfriend. When asked if she currently loves Combs, Jane told the court that she does. Under cross-examination, Jane confirmed that she wanted to be close to her partner. Jane testified that she liked to take care of him after hotel nights and called out Dateline as one of his favorite shows. So as you can see, today in court was just cross-examination. And over the past few days with Jane testifying, it's about the hotel nights, very graphic, actual encounters that were nearly identical to Cassie's, I would say, described on the stand as freak-offs and these hotel nights. So all of this was played out in trial today. However, they are not finished with this Jane. Not with this Jane, though. This nut will be back in court tomorrow. And I believe that court will begin at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, I pray that you subscribe. I pray that you share and like. And let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section. And until the next video, stay safe. Don't put your drink down. Hold your drink close to you. And don't get yourself involved in not a nail freak off.